right, hey everybody. I hope everyone's having a wonderful day. I had a couple people ask me about, how I move my equipment when I move jobs. And since we've got to move off the Bratcher track for a while, I thought I would just kind of take y'all on right quick and show you kind of how we move our stuff. Now, it's really simple. I'll show you right here. We've already got the log cart in the trailer. Well, I say we. It's just me and y'all. Y'all can be my help for today. But basically, I've got these wood ramps and I have parked going downhill. So it's not so much of it don't take so much of an effort for me to get it up in here, okay? So I got the log cart in there and I got the tongue right here. I got the tongue tied up because the wagon is gonna have to go right in there behind it and the tongue will lay on top of it. And then that way we'll have plenty of room and we can take the tongue out of the wagon. We'll do that after we get it loaded. So anyway, y'all stick with me here. I'll set the camera up and we'll get this thing loaded. And I'm gonna run this trailer to the house and drop it and then get the gooseneck, and we'll get the gooseneck and come back for the skid steer. All right? So anyway, y'all stick with me here and we'll get to it. Now, y'all, I could never load this wagon by myself if the truck wasn't facing downhill just a little bit. That's the truth. I mean, this wagon's not super heavy, but it's heavy enough I can't do it by myself. Of course, I could always use a skid steer to do it, but this is easier if it's facing downhill. Now, when I built this thing, I built it just a little too tight, and I'm going to have to do a little cleaning on it and dressing up. But I built it a little bit too tight where it goes in, and sometimes it gets stuck, and I have to take my skip hammer out of my log cart, as y'all see here, and kind of tap on it a little to break it loose. And then she'll come right on out. Alright, y'all, I'll show you kind of how this hitch pin deal works. It's just a 3/4 inch bolt, 2 jam nuts and a washer. It just goes through the little tray here, down through my tongue, and I got a washer on it, and I use jam nuts because I don't like to get my hitch pin real tight, so I use a jam nut to keep it from backing off. I'll show y'all what I mean here in a second. It's pretty quick, other than the tongue getting stuck every once in a while. But there it is. I know y'all can make that out pretty easy. Then the tongue just slips in down under there. I'm probably just going to leave the log cart chained up right there. I don't think it's going to go nowhere. And I need to get a ratchet strap and strap this wagon in to keep it from rolling. And the wagon will keep the log cart from rolling. So we should be in pretty good shape. And we still got a little bit of room here on the back. I may set the skid steer bucket right here on the back end, the dirt bucket. So that'll save us a little time and effort. Okay, y'all, so this part of the operation is done. We got the log cart, we got the wagon, we got the bucket. When I come back, I'll have to bring the gooseneck and get the pallet forks and the grapple for the skid steer. And usually what I do with that is I just put the forks on the skid steer, scoop up the grapple, chain the grapple to the skid steer, and then load both on the trailer at the same time, and it makes it a lot easier. So, you know, for those of you that might have been wondering how I move my stuff, I mean, this is pretty much it. And later on this year, Lord willing, if everything holds together and, you know, we can keep doing what we're doing, I'm putting a little money back for a bumper pull pintle hitch for the log truck, so I can haul the skid steer with the log truck instead of with my pickup. My pickup's a diesel, and it does a good job. I mean, it's got a lot of power, but the log truck is bigger, heavier, and y'all, I don't know how familiar you are with these skid steers, but now that Cat 299 D2 X8 speed there, if you got an implement on the front of it, it's about 14,000 pounds. That's pretty heavy. So, you know, a pintle hitch with the log truck and having heavier brakes and all that mess, you know, makes good sense versus, you know, I've got a single axle F350. It's a good truck and I love it and everything, but the log truck's dual wheels, bigger brakes, you know, geared low, all that mess, and you ain't gonna hurt it. So anyway, this is pretty much what I do to get moved. I mean, the saws is all, you know, in the front. I ain't got to worry about the saws. I got all my logging equipment right here that I use with the mules, and then skid steer sitting over there behind where y'all at. So in a nutshell, that's it. And you know, Red, he's at the house. But anyway, I'll check back in with you here in a minute. We'll load the skid steer up. right, y'all, I'm gonna show you what I did right quick on chaining this thing down. Kind of give you an idea. Y'all saw us putting it on the trailer, and my pa-in-law, Mr. Howard, Lance, was helping me here, and this is his truck. It's hooked to the gooseneck. He's been hauling hay, so I told him, I said, well, if you don't care, I'll just use your truck to take it to the house. I don't live but just a few miles down the road down here, and I'm just gonna run it to the house and drop it and come back. But I want to take y'all around, just show you kind of what we did on chaining it down. Okay, so this is a machine that's over 10,000 pounds, and on a machine that's over 10,000 pounds, you have to have 4 points of contact and chains rated for the load. So here's our binders. Now, one thing that DOT will frown on is these sticking out past the rub rail. They don't like that, but like I said, I'm not going far. If y'all wanted the best advice on chaining a piece of equipment down, you know, don't let your binders hang out. Use a short piece of chain in between there to I just didn't have enough chain, or that's the way I would have done it. If you got ratchet binders, they won't hang out like that. The handles, you can lay them down on the deck. So ratchet binders work a little better. But I'm working with what I got. So I just kind of wanted to show you. Here's the lugs on the front up there. And then of course I've got the grapple. Y'all can see it. It's bound down to the forks. So the grapple's bound to the forks, and then the skid steer is bound to the trailer, just to give you an idea. And this is how we move it. Now, like I say, eventually I'm gonna get me a panel hitch to go behind the log truck, and then I won't have to worry about having this, you know, having to use my father-in-law's gooseneck. But y'all, I'm forever more grateful to my father-in-law. He's helped me a lot, especially being able to move my machine. We don't move it a lot, but when we do need to move it, he's always willing to help us. And y'all, for that, I'm grateful. I'm grateful to have people in my life that don't mind helping me out when I need it. Everybody needs a little push every once in a while. You know, we're gonna get our own trailer eventually. It just takes a little time. The good Lord didn't build the world in one day. Anyway, y'all, I'm fixing to load up and head this thing to the house. Now, I didn't want to bore y'all watching me unchain this thing on the video, but I did want you to see what I have to do. So I sped the video up to save a little time. Now, Mr. Lance's trailer here has got a dovetail that you can raise back up and pin these ramps up in the upright position so you can load 2 more round bales of hay on the dovetail, and it'll ride level. And whenever we went and picked up the trailer, that's how it was configured. So y'all, we want to put it back like Mr. Lance had it before we take it back. Well, y'all, I hope you've enjoyed this little video I put together for you. I just want to give you an idea of how I move my stuff around, and I move it from job to job. And like I say, until we get our own trailer, it's a little more difficult, but nonetheless, I'm thankful for my father-in-law, Mr. Lance, letting me use his trailer too. It's been a big help to us getting the skid steer moved around. But anyway, we'll have more for you here soon. And if you need me, I'm going to put my email on the screen. Again, I'll be praying for each of you that's watching. And I appreciate each of you's time. Thank you for being here and watching, commenting, all that good stuff, all the new subscribers. Hey, y'all, thank you. Y'all have a good night, and I'll catch you next time.